What's up guys, Dan here from Kilowatt Auto. So with the Model Y now in full production, I wanted to talk about a common theme that typically occurs with earlier production Tesla vehicles, and that's specifically being fit and finish issues. And what I mean by that is I consider a fit and finish issue any type of body panel misalignment, paint defect, or any other defect that comes directly from the manufacturer and is received by the end user at delivery. And in general, these type of issues occur in the early stages of production as the manufacturer is developing different processes and efficiencies in order to better make the vehicles. And unfortunately, this has been a common theme, especially with Teslas in the early stages of their production. And the primary thought is that with time, as Tesla gets better at learning the manufacturing process, more technicians and engineers are trained on how to properly build the cars, these fit and finish issues should decrease over time. And what I wanted to do in today's video, in keeping with this theme, is to take a look at my car specifically, which is a 2020 Tesla Model 3, and see if we can identify any specific fit and finish issues in the overall production of the vehicle, as well as determine if the actual quality of production has increased since the original deliveries started taking place back in July of 2017. So in my case specifically, I have a 2020 Tesla Model 3. I took delivery of it in December of 2019, and I have 4 different defects that I was able to identify that came directly from Tesla factory. Now, 3 of these defects I do consider to be minor, and I honestly didn't even really notice them until I started taking a closer look at the car's body panels. Before we get started though, this video isn't meant to be an attack on the quality of Tesla vehicles. Overall, I think Tesla has a really high quality package regardless of what vehicle you end up ordering, but it is meant to shed some light on that from the factory there are defects that do occasionally come on the vehicles, and it's just important to be aware of that, especially when you're taking delivery of the vehicle. It's also important to realize that this is my own experience with Tesla defects. It's definitely not representative of the whole fleet of Tesla vehicles that are currently on the road. But if you've had a similar experience or a different one, I definitely want to hear from you in the comments down below. Just make sure you leave the model year and when you took delivery of your Tesla so we can sort of identify if the defects have decreased over time as Tesla has gotten better at manufacturing their vehicles. But with that said, definitely consider subscribing if you'd like to join the Kilowatt Auto family. I do post a new video every Saturday, and if you end up enjoying this video, make sure you hit the like button so others have an easier time finding it. So we're going to start at the back of the car and work our way forward, and the first issue that I was able to identify actually occurred with the seal which goes around the edge of the trunk. So along the bottom you can see that there's a little bit of a bump, especially in the middle of the seal, and I've tried pushing down with this just with my hand, and the seal basically bounces right back up. It would probably require me to remove the bumper to see what's actually blocking the seal from sitting as it's supposed to. Regardless though, the seal still works. No water or anything is getting into the trunk, so this hasn't been something that I pursued getting repaired by Tesla. It's just something that you can visually see as you take a look at the trunk and follow the seal along the base of the trunk. So issue number 2 is actually one that required me to go to Tesla to get the car serviced, and specifically this had to do with the rear taillight and the portion of the taillight that's actually attached to the trunk lid. So about a month after taking delivery, I noticed that condensation was collecting in that piece of the taillight, and then also a few weeks later water started pooling there as well. So as soon as I saw the water start to pool, I got on the app and scheduled a service appointment with Tesla, and they were able to get me into the service center in about 2 weeks time. What ended up happening is they've replaced the rear taillight housing free of charge under warranty. And basically what they explained to me is that any time that water is collecting in any of the taillights or headlight portions, that's an automatic replacement under Tesla warranty. So again, it's not super ideal for the initial ownership of a vehicle, but in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't a huge issue. They were able to replace it quickly. The whole service appointment maybe took about 20 minutes. I used the service center in Wexford, Pennsylvania, and they had excellent service there. They were super quick, and it was overall a positive experience getting that fixed. Another fitment issue that I actually noticed more recently, and this sort of came from watching some of the Model Y review videos, is that the charge port panel is actually juts out a little bit from the side of the car and is asymmetrical when you're comparing it to the other taillight on the other side. So this is not a huge issue. It's honestly not even something that I noticed until I was seeing the Model Y reviews where people were complaining about this. It doesn't block the charge port lid from functioning. It doesn't trap water in the charge port or anything like that. So again, not a issue that I need to get service for, but it is something that you can visually see when you're looking at the left taillight versus the right taillight. taillight. Another area where I've seen issues with Model 3s is on the chrome trim that surrounds the windows. So specifically the trim where it crosses between the front door and then the back door. So I took a look at the trim on my car, and in terms of the alignment, it might be off by a little bit, but you can't really notice that much of a difference. I have seen very significant gaps of maybe half an inch to even an inch where the chrome is not lining up. And if in this case, if you're noticing that on your car, especially at the time of delivery, it's definitely worth mentioning to the service techs because that could be an alignment issue with the doors. And also, especially if you're having difficulty closing any of the doors, take a look at the chrome trim and just the general alignment of the gaps around the edges of the doors, and that could give you a clue if there is a potential mounting or alignment issue with the door. Another common area for issues with the new Model Ys is the hood alignment. So I took a look on my Model 3 to see how the hood was aligned, and just by doing a basic visual inspection, I wasn't able to identify any specific issues here. So you can see that all the way around the edge of the hood, the gap is fairly uniform, which led me to conclude that the hood is properly aligned. So after doing the walk around of my Model 3, I think it's safe to say that the quality in terms of fit and finish has definitely improved from the initial Model 3s that were brought to market. While my car did come from some defects from the factory, the only major one was the taillight, and Tesla was able to quickly fix that for me, and they did it under warranty, so it was at no cost to me. As production continues to get better, it's still important, especially when you're taking delivery of your car, just to make sure you're doing that thorough walk around and just let the service techs know if you notice anything that looks misaligned or any paint issues like that, so they can document that and then get you set up so that that can be repaired. In most cases, all of these fit and finish issues should fall under the car's warranty, so they should be repaired at no cost to you as the owner. But that's actually where I'm going to end today's video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit the like button so others have an easier time finding it, and also consider subscribing so you don't miss any of my weekly videos. Be sure also to leave your comments down below if you had a similar experience in terms of fit and finish issues, or if you had a different one, and then also make sure you leave the model year and when you took delivery of your car. But with that said, I'll see you in the next one.